What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. People that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are highest ever. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt, 37 trillion. Record investment in the USA, plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high income people, will be paid to everyone. Wow. That's packed with a lot of meat and potatoes. So let's take a look at and dissect this thing. He says we are the richest, the most respected country in the world. I would agree with him. We are the richest and the most wealthiest country in the world. Now, whether we're the most respected or not, I don't know about that one, guys. I think if you poll the world, we're probably not at the top of the most respected list. So I agree with him on part of that, disagree with him on the other part. Here's another one. With almost no inflation. Well, the last time I checked, for the month of September, I believe year over year, inflation had grown by 3%. And most economists say the real inflation number is around 6%. So I don't agree with President Trump that there's no inflation. We certainly do have some inflation. Record stock market. I agree with President Trump on that. We are having a record stock market right now. You're talking about an S&P 500 that's flirting with 7,000 points. It has never been there before. So I got to agree with him on that one. 401ks are highest ever. 50 to 60% of Americans who work have at some point contributed to a 401k. But that's very different from someone out here building wealth through individual stocks and just individual ETFs. 90% of Americans don't invest in the stock market outside of their 401k. So he could be right about the 401k thing. I can't corroborate that for him, but I also can't say that's not true, right? Because it is a record stock market and most people's 401ks are invested in the stock market. So he could be right on that one. Let's move on though. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt, 37 trillion. Let's take on that first part. He says we're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. Unfortunately, guys, I can't corroborate that because every time I go out to get concrete evidence that that's true, I can never find it. There are no trade agreements that I can read through to show that various countries have signed on the dotted line that they're going to give us trillions of dollars. So I can't corroborate this trillions of dollars worth of investment. Most things that I read, people are saying, the so-called experts are saying this is highly, highly inflated. We have received some investment into the U.S., but not in the form of trillions. That's mostly what I read. But again, I'm not an expert here, so you go do your own research, but I can't agree with him on that one. And then he says we'll soon be paying down this enormous $37 trillion in debt. Actually, if you go to the Treasury Department's website, it's actually over $38 trillion in national debt. And now, if we got trillions of dollars coming in investment, I don't know what that means. Does that mean countries are just giving us trillions of dollars that we can do anything with? Or does that mean countries are making an investment in the U.S. through, like manufacturing facilities, warehouse facilities, that kind of stuff? I don't know. That one I'm a little bit unsure on. I don't think I agree with him on that either. Definitely not the 37 trillion when you can go to the Treasury's website and it says right there it's 38 trillion. So he's a little bit low on that number. Then he goes on to say record investment in the U.S., plants and factories going up all over the place. Again, guys, I went out and did my little research and I can't find very many new plants or factories that are going up. Now I don't know if it was Korea or Japan, one of those foreign car manufacturers are building a plant here, maybe a couple of them. But outside of the automobile industry, I couldn't find any other industry that's actually building a manufacturing, distribution, warehouse type facilities, not on a scale that President Trump is talking about. Now, I could be wrong. You guys drop it down in the comment box and let me know what your research has concluded. But I can't find this trillions of dollars that's coming in that he's calling record investment in the U.S. Now, I know he's been to the UAE and the Middle East, and these people are telling him all kind of stuff. Maybe that money is coming in at some point, but I can't find any hard, concrete evidence that any form, shape, or fashion of trillions of dollars are coming in. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Drop it down in the comment box with your research and let me know. Now, let's get to this dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. All right, how are we going to pay for it? Now, he says we're going to pay for it out of what? Tariff revenue. But he also says we're going to pay the debt down out of tariff revenue and investment. That's what he's saying now. So let's look at the numbers, or at least I'm going to walk you through the numbers. Right now, in 2025, we have a $1.78 trillion deficit. That means we spend more in 2025 than we collect in taxes, federal income tax, right? So we have a deficit of 1.78 trillion. That's the number we're short. The tariff revenue that we're currently collecting, if we take a look at September 2025, we collected about 35 billion. Now, if we forecast that out over 12 months, that's about 380 billion in tariff revenue. But our deficit right now is 1.78 trillion with a T. Last time I checked, trillion is more than billion. So if we only got 380 billion in tariff revenue coming in, there's nowhere out there I can find any evidence of foreign investment that's hit our books that's over $1 trillion. It doesn't exist yet. Maybe that's something that might happen in the future, but it ain't on the books right now, so I'll throw that out. The only thing I can see clear path to paying for this $2,000 tariff dividend check, stimulus check, is through the tariff revenue. I've already told you the tariff revenue is only about 380 billion if we extrapolate it out over 12 months based on September's number. We already got a 1.78 trillion deficit. right? So clearly, if you take, let's say 100 million Americans that qualify for this dividend check or this stimulus check, you take, let's say 100 million Americans that qualify for this and you times it by 2,000, that's about $200 billion right there. Where are you going to get it from? You're going to take it from the $380 billion in tariff revenue? You could, but now you only got left what? Not very much, about $180 billion in tariff revenue to pay down $1.78 trillion in deficit debt from our national debt. We're in deficit. So we can't pay that down. Not if we take $200 billion from the tariff revenue to pay out the dividend check. We won't have really that much to even make a small fingernail full of reduction in our national debt of $38 trillion. Some people might say, well, they can turn on the money printer. Then guess what you're going to do? You're going to drive up inflation. You're going to drive up inflation anyways when you issue $2,000 dividend checks to what, 125 million Americans. You're going to run up inflation anyways. Go back and look at when we gave out those stimulus checks for the pandemic. What do you think caused inflation? The stimulus checks. What do you think that came from? That actually came from the money printer. But even if we take it from the tariffs, we still are going to be operating at a deficit every year. So which one are we going to do? I don't know if I believe this $2,000 stimulus check thing, man. I go back to the Doge thing again. They said it was going to give out $5,000 Doge checks. They never did. So now all of a sudden he says he's going to give out $2,000 stimulus checks based on the tariff revenue. But you've already said the tariff revenue is going to go to pay down the national debt. You can't do all of that with $380 billion a year in tariff revenue. Plus, you got the Supreme Court that may strike down some of this tariff tax that he's, if the Supreme Court strikes down part of his tariff tax, it could take the revenue from $380 billion down to about $200 billion. Now you got $200 billion in tariff revenue. You're going to pay out all $200 billion to Americans in the form of $2,000 stimulus checks? Probably not. Drop me some comments down in the comment box, man, and let me know what y'all think about this $2,000 stimulus check that's supposedly going to be paid out of tariff revenue. They're going to call it a tariff stimulus check dividend. I don't know. Drop it down in the comment box. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing, share the video, smash the like button. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind, go hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll catch you on the next video. But Moo is going to give you some NVIDIA stock when you open up a new Moo brokerage account and make a deposit. All you got to do is get down to the first link in the description box. That's the Moo brokerage link. Click on it and get all the details on how you can get some NVIDIA stock. Don't delay, act today. Second link down in the description box is the Wealth Builders Financial Community on Patreon. Guys, all we do in that community is help each other build wealth, get to financial freedom, and passive income. If you want to be a part of our team, all you got to do is click on that second link. It'll take you over to Patreon, and then come sign up for the fastest growing financial community on Patreon. We'll call the Wealth Builders.